Have you ever said something you immediately regretted, wishing you could just hit rewind and choose your words differently? Do you sometimes find yourself caught in conversations where you feel compelled to fill every silence, or to prove a point, even if it leaves you feeling drained? What if mastering the art of not speaking or choosing your words with profound intention was one of the most powerful signs of true wisdom? If these questions resonate, then you're in the right place. Welcome to StoicCraft, a vital resource for men like us navigating the complexities of modern life with wisdom, resilience, and a deep commitment to self-mastery. Here, we explore timeless Stoic principles to help you refine your character and lead a life of purpose and quiet strength. All right, let's talk about something truly profound that can profoundly change how you're perceived, how you lead, and even how you feel about yourself. You see, truly intelligent men, especially those of us who have lived a little, experienced some bumps, and gathered some hard-won wisdom, they possess a unique and often understated secret. It's not about having an answer for absolutely everything, or being able to recite obscure facts. Their real, subtle power lies in understanding precisely when to remain silent, and when to speak with deliberate, impactful intention. Often what you don't say, or the words you consciously choose not to utter, can communicate far more about your character, your intelligence, and your inner fortitude than any clever remark or witty retort ever could. I've spent years observing human nature, both through the timeless lens of ancient Stoic philosophy and in the everyday trenches of life, from boardroom meetings to casual coffee shop chats. And let me tell you, the wisest men I've had the privilege of knowing, the ones who genuinely command respect and influence, share a common, powerful trait. They don't waste their words. They don't frantically rush to fill every silence. And they most certainly never utter phrases that subtly, yet significantly, chip away at their own hard-earned credibility. So today on Stoic, we're going to dive deep into 7 specific phrases and communication habits that genuinely intelligent men consciously choose to avoid. This isn't because they are somehow flawless or possess some superhuman perfection. It's because they've learned, often through the humbling experiences of life, that these particular phrases lead nowhere productive, drain valuable energy, and subtly undermine their own authority and peace of mind. Stick around, because if you're ready to refine your communication, elevate your presence, and genuinely get wiser together, this conversation is for you. 1. I already know that. Let's be brutally honest for a moment. This is a phrase that tends to slip out more often than any of us would like to admit, isn't it? I already know that. On the surface, it might sound harmless, perhaps even confident, as if you're signaling your vast knowledge. But if we peel back that initial layer, what it truly, and often inadvertently, reveals is something far less flattering. A mind that has perhaps unknowingly closed itself off to new possibilities, to new learning, and to genuine growth. An intelligent man, one truly committed to lifelong learning and personal evolution, instinctively knows better. He understands that the very moment we allow ourselves to become convinced that there is nothing more for us to learn, nothing new to discover, we have, in effect, slammed the door shut on our own potential for continued growth. We block our own intellectual and personal development. This is a lesson I learned the hard way years ago. I was working with a seasoned mentor, a man whose wisdom I deeply respected. I remember vividly him attempting to explain a particular strategy, and in my youthful arrogance, I blurted out, "Oh, I already know that." He simply paused, looked at me with a knowing smile, and gently said, "Then why aren't you doing it?" That simple question was a profound punch to the gut, a moment of stark revelation. It wasn't about whether I had simply heard the information before. It was about whether I had truly integrated it, understood it, and was actually applying it in my life. The Stoic philosophers, those masters of practical wisdom, lived by the principle of continuous learning and intellectual humility. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, despite his immense power and knowledge, was constantly reading, reflecting, and seeking guidance. He didn't shy away from admitting what he didn't know. In fact, he saw it as an opportunity for growth. He understood that knowledge isn't static, it's a dynamic, ever-expanding landscape. To declare, "I already know that," isn't just rude or dismissive. It's a profound act of self-limitation. You are essentially telling the universe, and more importantly, yourself, that your cup is full. And a full cup, my friends, cannot receive anything new. Consider this. Every single person you encounter, no matter their background, their status, or their perceived level of expertise, possesses a unique perspective, a different life experience, and, potentially, a valuable insight that you currently lack. When you utter, "I already know that," you are not just shutting down the other person. You are, more significantly, shutting down your own capacity to expand, to adapt, and to evolve. You are forfeiting a potential piece of wisdom that could dramatically shift your trajectory. Instead, an intelligent man approaches every conversation, every piece of information, with an open mind and a genuine sense of curiosity. Even if the topic seems familiar, he might consider, "Is there a nuance I'm missing here? Is there a deeper layer to this concept? Is there a different way to apply this that I haven't considered?" He might respond with phrases like, "That's an interesting perspective, tell me more," or "I've encountered that idea before, but I'm open to exploring it further." This approach doesn't just make you more likable, it makes you genuinely smarter. It opens doors to new learning, fosters stronger relationships, and cultivates a powerful intellectual humility that is the true hallmark of a continuously growing mind. Remember, true wisdom isn't about collecting facts. It's about continuously seeking truth and remaining open to new understandings, even when they challenge your existing beliefs. The moment you believe you've learned everything there is to know, you stop learning, and that, my friends, is where stagnation begins. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My mind is open to new wisdom. 2. That's not my job. This phrase, while sometimes factually accurate in a literal sense, carries a powerful and profoundly limiting undertone that intelligent men recognize and actively avoid. "That's not my job" often acts as an invisible wall, a subtle barrier that separates you from true responsibility, genuine collaboration, and ultimately from significant growth and leadership opportunities. While it might protect you from taking on extra tasks in the short term, it subtly but surely chips away at your reputation as a proactive, valuable, and indispensable member of any team or organization. The Stoics were profound proponents of fulfilling one's duties, not just those explicitly assigned, but those that contributed to the greater good of the community and the natural order. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, constantly reflected on the importance of contributing to the universal reason. He understood that true service and genuine impact often extend beyond the rigid lines of a job description. He wasn't just concerned with his own role. He was concerned with the functioning of the entire empire. Think about how this phrase sounds to others. To your colleagues, it might sound like a lack of team spirit or a narrow-minded refusal to help. To your superiors, it might signal a lack of initiative, a limited vision, or an unwillingness to go above and beyond, qualities that rarely lead to advancement or significant trust. In a world that is constantly evolving, where roles are increasingly fluid and collaboration is paramount, rigidly clinging to "that's not my job" makes you inflexible, less adaptable, and ultimately less valuable. An intelligent man, on the other hand, understands that true value is often found in the overlap, in the willingness to bridge gaps, and in the proactive identification of problems that need solving, regardless of who's officially responsible. He might think, how can I help solve this problem even if it's outside my usual duties? Or, is there something I can learn from this situation even if it's not directly my responsibility? He understands that stepping up even on small things builds a reputation for reliability, resourcefulness, and a genuine commitment to the team's overall success. This isn't about becoming a doormat or taking on every single task that comes your way, leading to burnout. That would be foolish. The distinction lies in your attitude and your approach. An intelligent man assesses the situation. Is this a genuine opportunity to learn? Will my assistance truly make a difference? Is it a chance to demonstrate leadership or problem-solving skills? If the answer is yes, or even a nuanced maybe, he might phrase his response differently. I can certainly look into that, and here's how it might integrate with my current priorities. Or, while that's outside my immediate scope, I can offer some insights on how to approach it. This approach demonstrates a willingness to be a team player, a problem solver, and someone who thinks broadly about the organization's goals, not just his own individual tasks. It shows that you are invested in the bigger picture. In the long run, this attitude will always open more doors than it closes, leading to greater respect, more opportunities, and a far more fulfilling career trajectory. Remember, the most valuable people are often those who are willing to step into the void, to take ownership of issues that others might shy away from. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I seek opportunities to add value beyond my defined role. 3. I don't care. This is a phrase that, for an intelligent man, should be approached with extreme caution, if not outright eliminated from his vocabulary, especially when directed at others. While there are certainly things in life that genuinely don't warrant your concern, uttering "I don't care" often communicates far more about your character and emotional intelligence than it does about the topic at hand. It can come across as dismissive, arrogant, or even callous, potentially damaging relationships and closing off avenues for understanding and empathy. The Stoics, though advocating for emotional control and indifference to things outside their control, certainly did not endorse apathy or a lack of concern for fellow human beings. Marcus Aurelius frequently emphasized the concept of philanthropia, a deep love for humanity and a commitment to serving the common good. He understood that we are all interconnected, and true wisdom involves recognizing and honoring those connections. To truly not care about anything would contradict the very essence of living a virtuous life within a community. Consider the context in which "I don't care" is often used. Perhaps someone is sharing a personal problem, offering an opinion, or expressing an emotion. Responding with "I don't care" immediately shuts down the conversation, invalidates their feelings, and creates a chasm between you and the other person. Even if the topic genuinely holds no interest for you, or if you feel overwhelmed and unable to engage, the blanket statement of "I don't care" is a blunt instrument that often causes unnecessary damage. An intelligent man understands the power of connection and the importance of active listening, even if he doesn't fully agree or is unable to solve the problem being presented. He recognizes that sometimes people just need to be heard. Even if the subject is trivial to him, he understands that it might be important to the other person, and acknowledging their perspective demonstrates respect and builds trust. Instead of a dismissive "I don't care," a more intelligent and empathetic response might be, "I hear what you're saying," or "I understand why that's important to you," or even, if appropriate, "I'm not sure I can offer much help on that specific issue right now, but I'm here to listen." If you genuinely have no emotional bandwidth for a topic, it's far better to be honest and compassionate. "I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed right now and can't fully engage with that, but I'm happy to revisit it later." This approach preserves the relationship, communicates respect, and shows a maturity that is far more compelling than a blanket statement of indifference. While Stoicism teaches us to be indifferent to things outside our control, it doesn't teach us to be indifferent to the feelings or well-being of others, especially those we interact with daily. True indifference for the Stoics was about not letting external events disturb your inner peace, not about abandoning compassion or connection. Remember, every interaction is an opportunity to build or erode trust. Choose your words carefully, as they are powerful tools for shaping your relationships and reflecting your true character. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose empathy and understanding over indifference. 4. It's not fair. The lament of "it's not fair." This phrase, especially coming from a man in his prime, often signals a fundamental misunderstanding of how the world truly operates, and it can be a significant barrier to personal growth and resilience. While life can indeed be genuinely unjust, and terrible things happen to good people, intelligent men understand that constantly dwelling on fairness is a futile exercise that drains energy and fosters a victim mentality. The Stoics were acutely aware of life's inherent unpredictability and its frequent unfairness. They lived in a world rife with political intrigue, sudden misfortunes, and arbitrary power structures. Yet they consciously chose not to succumb to bitterness or despair. Epictetus famously taught that some things are within our control and others are not. He stressed that focusing our energy on what is not fair, on what is outside our control, is a recipe for perpetual suffering. When you utter "it's not fair," you are essentially wishing for the world to conform to your personal ideal of justice. a concept that is often subjective and rarely aligns with harsh reality. You are, in essence, arguing with the universe, and the universe, as we know, has no ears. This perspective often prevents you from adapting, from finding solutions, and from moving forward. It keeps you stuck in a loop of resentment and victimhood. An intelligent man, confronted with an unfair situation, recognizes it for what it is. He acknowledges the injustice without allowing it to consume him. He then shifts his focus immediately to what can be done. He might ask himself, given this unfair reality, what is my best possible response? Or what can I learn from this, even if it's painful? Or how can I adapt and make the most of the circumstances regardless of their inherent fairness? This isn't about accepting injustice passively. It's about strategizing effectively within the reality you face. It's about taking ownership of your response, which is the only thing you truly control. It's about channeling your energy into action, rather than wasting it on unproductive complaint. For example, if a promotion goes to someone less deserving, an unfair situation, an intelligent man doesn't just stew in resentment. He might analyze, what qualities did they demonstrate that I overlooked? What skills do I need to develop? How can I communicate my value more effectively next time? Or he might calmly decide that this company isn't the right fit for his values and begin exploring other opportunities. This proactive, problem-solving mindset, rooted in Stoic acceptance of what is far more empowering than simply stating, "It's not fair." It allows you to maintain your inner peace because you are no longer fighting reality. You are instead working skillfully with it. Life is not always fair, but your response to its unfairness can always be wise and empowering. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I accept what is, and focus on what I can control. 5. I'll do it later. The procrastinator's mantra. This isn't just a casual dismissal. I'll do it later is the quiet killer of dreams, the subtle thief of potential, and a phrase that intelligent men learn to identify and eradicate from their internal dialogue and external commitments. While it sounds harmless enough, a habitual reliance on later creates a deceptive illusion of control while simultaneously eroding your discipline, your reliability, and your ability to seize opportunities. The Stoics placed immense value on action, duty, and living each day as if it were your last. Marcus Aurelius again reminds us, don't act as if you're going to live for millions of years. Death is hanging over you. While you live, while you may, become good. This isn't morbid. It's an urgent call to embrace the present moment and act with intention. They understood that procrastination isn't merely delaying a task. It's delaying your own growth, your own peace of mind, and your own progress toward a virtuous life. When you consistently push things to later, what's really happening? Often it's a subtle avoidance of discomfort, a fear of failure, or simply a lack of clarity on how to begin. The task, however small, often looms larger in your mind the longer you delay it, creating unnecessary anxiety and mental clutter. This constant mental burden slowly saps your energy and prevents you from fully engaging with the present moment. Think about how many laters have accumulated in your life, those small tasks that became large burdens, those opportunities that vanished those goals that never materialized. An intelligent man recognizes that action is the antidote to anxiety. He understands that momentum is built through small, consistent steps. Instead of thinking, "I'll do it later," he rephrases it to, "What's the first small step I can take right now?" Or, "What's the absolute minimum I can do to get this started?" He breaks down overwhelming tasks into manageable chunks and focuses on initiating rather than perfecting. This isn't about eliminating all forms of rest or strategic delay. Sometimes putting something off is a wise decision, allowing for more information or better timing. The key difference lies in the intention. Is later a deliberate, well-reasoned choice, or is it a subconscious deferral born of fear or inertia? An intelligent man distinguishes between strategic delay and habitual procrastination. He knows that every day you delay a meaningful action, you are effectively choosing comfort over growth and short-term ease over long-term fulfillment. Start tackling those later items today. Choose one small thing you've been putting off and commit to doing just 5 minutes of it. You'll be surprised how often that 5 minutes turns into 15, then 30, and suddenly the task is completed, or at least significantly underway. Every time you choose now over later, you are building a powerful habit of discipline, self-reliance, and proactive living. This isn't just about productivity. It's about reclaiming your mental space and living with purpose. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I act with intention in the present moment. 6. Limiting self-identity. This phrase, insidious in its simplicity, can be one of the most destructive things an intelligent man can utter, either to himself or to others. "I'm just is a profound act of self-limitation, a verbal handcuff that prevents you from reaching your full potential and embracing new possibilities. It often arises from a fixed mindset where one believes their abilities, their character, or their destiny are unchangeably defined by their past experiences, their current role, or a perceived personal flaw. The Stoics believe deeply in the concept of our inherent potential and our capacity for continuous self-improvement, what they called prakopa, spiritual progress. Epictetus often urged his students to strive to become better, reminding them that man is disturbed not by things, but by the views he takes of them. This includes the views we take of ourselves. To say "I'm just is to impose an artificial and unnecessary ceiling on your own growth. Consider how often this phrase is used to avoid responsibility, to shy away from new challenges, or to dismiss an aspiration. "I'm just a salesman. I can't understand complex finance." "I'm just a father. I can't possibly start a new business." "I'm just naturally disorganized. I can't change." Each time you use this phrase, you reinforce a limiting belief, turning a temporary state or a past experience into a permanent, unchangeable identity. You are effectively telling yourself and anyone listening that you are incapable of evolving beyond your current self. An intelligent man understands that identity is not static. It is fluid, constantly being shaped by his choices, his actions, and his commitment to growth. He recognizes that while he might be currently in a certain role or possess certain habits, these do not define the entirety of his being or limit his future potential. Instead of "I'm just he might reframe it as "currently my primary Role is X, but I am developing skills in Y. Or, while I've struggled with Z in the past, I am actively working to improve in that area. This shift in language is incredibly powerful. It transforms a fixed declaration into an open-ended statement of progress and potential. It allows for continuous learning, adaptation, and the embracing of new identities and roles. True intelligence isn't about being perfect. It's about the relentless pursuit of self-improvement and the belief in one's capacity to change and grow, even when faced with past failures or current limitations. Challenge yourself to eliminate this phrase from your vocabulary. The next time you feel it forming on your tongue, pause and ask, is this truly who I am, or is it a story I've been telling myself? Then actively reframe it with a growth-oriented statement. This isn't just semantics. It's a profound act of self-liberation. You are not just anything. You are a complex, evolving being with immense potential, constantly in the process of becoming. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I am constantly evolving and growing. 7. That's just how I am. This final phrase is perhaps the most dangerous of all, precisely because it is so deeply ingrained and subtly insidious. That's just how I am is the ultimate excuse, a declaration of resignation that intelligent men committed to self-mastery recognize as the antithesis of growth and the very opposite of Stoic philosophy. It's a statement that effectively closes the door on personal transformation, attributing negative behaviors, unhelpful habits, or undesirable traits to an unchangeable, innate personal programming. The Stoics held an unwavering belief in our capacity for choice and the profound power of our rational mind to shape our character. Seneca, in his letters, frequently emphasized that we are not passive recipients of fate, but active participants in our own development. He taught that all evil is an opinion, meaning that our flaws and vices are not inherent parts of our being, but rather products of our mistaken judgments and our cultivated habits. To say that's just how I am is to deny your inherent human capacity for change and improvement. Consider the implications of this phrase. If you constantly tell yourself, I'm always late, that's just how I am, you are actively giving yourself permission to remain late, absolving yourself of the responsibility to change. If you say, I have a short temper, that's just how I am, you are implicitly accepting and reinforcing that behavior rather than seeking strategies to manage your anger. This phrase kills initiative, stifles self-reflection, and prevents you from addressing areas of your life that genuinely need improvement. It keeps you stuck in outdated patterns and limits your personal evolution. An intelligent man understands that while personality traits and tendencies exist, they are not immutable decrees. He knows that character is not destiny, but a lifelong project, continually being built and refined through conscious effort and deliberate choices. Instead of that's just how I am, he might say, I have a tendency to be X, and I'm actively working on improving in that area. Or, I am committed to developing new habits around Y. This shift in language moves you from a position of passive victimhood to one of active agency. It acknowledges a current state without accepting it as a permanent limitation. It demonstrates a commitment to self-awareness and a willingness to Put in the hard work required for personal transformation. True intelligence isn't about being flawless. It's about the courage to acknowledge your imperfections and the relentless drive to become a better version of yourself every single day. It's not because you hate who you are now, but because you respect yourself enough not to stay the same. In the end, that's just how I am, as a way of closing the door on possibility, a refusal to engage with the dynamic nature of existence. But the Stoics remind us that life itself is change. Nature is change. To resist it is to deny the very essence of being alive. The man who truly understands this doesn't fear change. He welcomes it. He sees himself not as a finished product, but as a continuous work in progress, unfinished, but always willing to learn, adapt, and improve. And in that willingness lies true wisdom and the profound path to personal mastery. If you've ever caught yourself saying one of these 7 things, trust me, you're in good company. I've been there too, more times than I'd like to admit. But here's the powerful good news. Intelligent men aren't the ones who never make mistakes. They are the ones who recognize them, reflect upon them, and consciously choose to do better. And that's exactly what we're doing here on StoicCraft, becoming better, one thoughtful choice, one mindful word, and one deliberate action at a time. So which one hit home for you today? Maybe it's time to finally leave "that's just how I am" in the past, or perhaps definitively retire "I'll do it later," before later tragically becomes never. Whatever it is, this is your explicit invitation to take the next deliberate step. Because wisdom isn't about achieving an elusive perfection. It's about consistently staying curious, remaining profoundly humble, and always moving forward with purpose and intention. If today's conversation sparked something meaningful in you, if it resonated deeply within your own experience, please pass it on. Share this video with a friend or a family member who is walking this same transformative path, or who desperately needs to hear this empowering message. And if you haven't yet, take a moment to hit that subscribe button to StoicCraft. Join our community as we continue to explore the timeless wisdom that empowers us to live with strength, clarity, and unwavering purpose in a complex world. We'll see you in the next video as we continue this journey of becoming better together.